This year's distinguished alumnus is Ed Frank from the class of 1968. Ed has had a very successful career in the energy industry and has founded 5 companies. He was also an underwriting member of Lloyd's London and was in the turnkey drilling business for over 30 years. Currently, Ed serves as the executive manager at Indemco LP, a company that he founded in 2003, which underwrites surety bonds for the energy industry. A valued volunteer, he has served on the boards of many for-profit and nonprofit organizations around Houston. Ed attended the University of Virginia, the University of Texas, and South Texas College of Law. Ed was on the Kinkaid Alumni Association board from 1998 through 2001 and has been on the Kinkaid Board of Trustees since 2011. He helped launch the 1906 Giving Society, which has greatly increased contributions to the Kinkaid Fund, and together with one of his classmates, he co-chaired the Kinkaid Dreams Financial Aid Initiative from 2008 to 2010. He's married to his wife, Kathy, and has 3 daughters, Mary John, Louise, and Catherine, who all graduated from Kinkaid in 1999, 2001, and 2012. His son-in-law, Drew, and his brother, Tom, also attended Kinkaid. Ed has assisted with his Kinkaid class reunion planning over the years, and his class is actually celebrating their 50th reunion this weekend. Please enjoy this short video about Ed and his many accomplishments.
I've known Ed for 48 years. So we first met when we started college at the University of Texas. We were in the same fraternity, raised kids together, and invested together, and then 15 years ago went in business together.
What can I say about Eduardo? He joined our class in the 10th grade, and we didn't know what to think of him.
The venue for our inaugural meeting was a bowling league of all things, and that everyone always speaks to Ed Frank's style, this non-pareil panache that Ed projects.
Ed was a serious student. I remember that he played football.
And we had great classes together, history, English, everything that you could imagine. Of course, it was a different campus then, but and it was a smaller class, a class of 50. And I must say that Ed was a friend of everyone. I remember Ed as being a bass player for a very well-known high school band when we were in high school. And I was always impressed with that talent that Ed had.
I believe he played bass, guitar, and he was the backup singer. In fact, the 2 songs were 96 Tears and Midnight Hour, and I've been told he still sings those in the shower today.
Ed has been a driving force in keeping class of 1968 members in touch with each other.
Well, the entire time I've known Ed, you know, from when we got back to Houston, he's been involved in all aspects of the community. But in later years, he's taken a keen interest in Kinkaid.
I'm so proud of Ed, and we're all just thrilled that he's getting this honor. And, you know, he has been fortunate to be a trustee for Kinkaid. And I will say he squeezed every dime out of our class for the capital campaign. In fact, there were a lot of people that wanted to come tonight, but they were afraid that Ed might hit them up for some more money.
Of the time that I've spent with Ed, probably one of the most memorable times will be the year that we worked on the endowment for financial aid at the Kinkaid School. Ed was tireless. Ed put in so much effort that it inspired me to try to just keep up with him.
I would attribute Ed's success first and foremost to the fact that he is as honest as the day is long and extremely hardworking. But most of all, I think Ed's friends would agree that what's most significant is his steadfast commitment to those who are important to him.
Ed lives by a premise, and that premise is count your blessings. And whenever I'm with Ed, I see a person who's been counting his blessings. I see a person of joy.
Everyone needs an Ed Frank in their life. Ed is a guy that has a resume that begins early and continues to this present day. It's inspirational to me, and I'm sure it's inspirational to many other people.
Something that you won't see in my dad's bio is that he's a fantastic dancer. He also has a lot of energy, has great taste in music, and can do the splits. I think my sisters and I inherited some of that energy and creativity, and growing up we put on a lot of plays and made movies with my cousins, and my dad was always a beyond willing participant and a patient audience member. My dad also plays the piano. He's got a lot of hidden talents, and I'm not surprised that he's getting this award today. Congratulations, Dad. We love you.
We are proud of you, Dad. We have a running family joke that my dad always wanted an accountant in the family. And even with 3 children, I don't think one of us took an accounting course. But regardless, my dad was always 100% supportive of whatever it was that we chose to study or pursue while at Kinkaid and beyond. Thank you, Dad. He also is an amazing grandfather. His grandchildren call him Chief, and they absolutely adore him, and he adores them, and it's been such a joy to watch that relationship. We love you, Chief.
Congratulations, Dad! As you have heard, our dad has always supported us in the many different aspects of our lives. He has also given us an amazing example of how to support the community around us. He has always believed that if you invest in your community, you can make a difference. He has wholeheartedly invested himself into giving back to the organizations that he loves and believes in. For this and for so many reasons, I am thankful for the example he has set. Not a day goes by that I don't count my many blessings, especially being lucky enough to call him Dad. Congratulations, Dad. We love you.
Please join me in welcoming Ed to the Kinkaid stage as the 2018 Distinguished Alumnus.
Well, I have a little confession to make. When Doug called, I was so flabbergasted I didn't know what to say. I thought maybe he was calling the wrong person, and so I did thank him. And I said, well, can I think about it and call you back? And I'm sure he probably hadn't had many answers like that. So I ran down to my partner, Russell Brown, who you saw up there, ran down to his office and said, Russell, I just got this call from Kinkaid, and they want to honor me as a distinguished alumnus. He said, Russell goes, that is great. You deserve it. That's fantastic. I said, yeah, but Russell, I can think of a lot of people who are more deserving. He said, you know, now that I think about it, you might be right. If I were you, I'd hurry back to the office and call them before they decide to give it to one of those people. So thank you to the committee for this incredible honor, Doug, and congratulations to the other. I feel a little bit sort of like I followed Mr. and Mrs. E.F. Hutton. But a couple little things I would like to say, that family, friends, and faith are some of the most essential ingredients in one's life. My parents gave the gift of a Kinkaid education to me and to my brother Tom. And I'm so glad that Dad is here tonight, and I want to thank him just one more time. And he gave us a gift that just keeps on giving. Little did I know when I arrived on campus that it was also be the greatest gift, or one of the greatest gifts that I'd ever received. It keeps on giving because it gave into Mary John, Louise, and Catherine, who all went to Kinkaid and graduated from Kinkaid. It also introduced Louise to her future husband, Drew Pennybaker, and now he's a part of our family. And whenever I think about family, I can't help but think about Kinkaid. Friends. Well, what can one say? I have been so fortunate, like many of us at Kinkaid, to make friendships that are not only deep, but long-lasting. We've all been together through some good, some bad, some ugly, but it all worked out, and we have lifelong friends. And I'm very excited about the fact that Mary John and Louise and Catherine have also had that same opportunity to make friendships friendships that are strong and deep, and I'm sure will last a lifetime too. Faith. How fortunate I was to be able to be in Barry Moss's comparative religion class. What an incredible class that was. It's something that resonates with me almost every day. It allowed us to not only study other world religions and their tenets, but also glimpse into the cultures. It also allowed us to test our own faith, to compare our faith, and in many respects, confirmed my faith. That was an incredible experience, and Gene, I think you know what I'm talking about. My dad used to say son, and for about a 10-year period in my life, I felt like he didn't know my name was Ed. It was always son. You only get out of something what you put into it. And I would say, that's true, but there are some rare exceptions. And as you might be able to guess from what I've said, Kinkaid is one of those. I've gotten much more out of Kinkaid than I put in. So when Tom Moore, Don North, took me to lunch and asked me to head up the Dreams Initiative, I had a chance to give back, and I immediately said yes. Fortunately, I was able to get Mike Kuhn, who was also on the video, to be a co-chair. And so we set out to raise money for scholarships and financial aid. Mike said yes really quick, and he said he wanted to give something back. And I did not know this at the time. He said, I want to give something back because, you see, I could not have attended Kinkaid without a scholarship. Mike and Lucy Kuhn made the very first gift to the Dreams Initiative, which was a fully endowed scholarship. As we closed in on making our goal of $7.5 million, Mike and Tom and I went over to New Orleans to see Phyllis Taylor. A name probably many of y'all don't recognize, but she's the widow of the first Kinkaid scholarship student, Pat Taylor. Pat was on scholarship in 1955. We went and told her the story and what we were doing, and it was a good trip because when we got back, about 2 days later, we got a letter saying that Pat Taylor would have wanted to give something back. And they were going to give us a fully endowed scholarship and it helped us reach our goal. In fact, it put us over the top. It's a great story, but what's the point? Well, there are plenty of examples of people who have gotten more out of Kinkaid than they put in. These particular alumni realized something really important. The point is that Kinkaid is not a school for the privileged, but that no matter who you are, it is a privilege to go to Kinkaid. It was a privilege for me to go to Kinkaid. It's been a privilege to co-chair the Dreams Initiative. It's a privilege to serve on the Kinkaid board, and truly a privilege to be recognized as a distinguished alumni of the Kinkaid School. Thank you again to the committee. Thank you for the people who took the time to make that video. Thank all of my friends that come tonight, and a lot of friends that I'll see tomorrow night at the reunion. Also want to thank my dad and his wife Lolly. Thank my sister Graham and her half Kinkaid husband Ed. He was kicked out in 3rd grade. My brother Tom and his fiancee Jessica. Way to go, Tom. I want to thank Mary John for coming from New York. I was going to thank Catherine for coming from Austin. And of course, we want to thank Drew and Louise who came in from the Heights. Thank you again.